Hey, Jarvis, do you like that new What About Bob sequel?
Yeah, dude. It's a movie that's way overdue for a remake.
Definitely. What About Bob?
What about Bob? That's all we want to know. Poor Bob. We've got to. It actually. Okay. Well, first off, welcome back to Full Time Movie Fans.
We changed the layout again.
Yeah.
This is a part of the transition to the new one, but I don't know how long it's going to take for the whole transition to happen because I want to build like an actual, honest to God, like film set in my garage.
Yeah. We'll get there one day with you guys' help. We definitely want to improve the situation on the recording, make higher quality stuff, and just give you more and different content as well. So that being said, feel free to like and subscribe. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer,
We like
thank
you being here.
We appreciate you. This is Full Time Movie Fans. I'm your host, Jarvis. Just call me Jarvis. That is my last name, not my first name. And this is other host.
Michael, just call me Michael.
Yeah, just call him Michael, please.
Call me by my Michael. Do you like that one?
That was pretty good.
The switching's going to be a little different too because I don't know if Jarvis remembers this, but I was a professional technical director at SeaWorld for whale shows.
Yeah.
My day job was talking and switching cameras at the same time. So
like usual, I need a haircut and I forgot to shave, so
and
sorry about
this
that.
camera's quality is a little too nice.
With that being said, yeah, we're doing What About Bob Part 2, the remake.
It's What About Bob with a little asterisk in the corner.
Yeah, What About Bob with Ash? What's funny though is it's still very valid because
It really is.
And guys, go check out our What About Bob movie review. We did that one several weeks ago. It's
Jarvis just knew. That's why we saw it.
Yeah,
I
just love Bill Murray, and it was a movie that my dad loved.
Yeah,
I watched as a kid, and
Bill Murray was in this movie. He was not.
No, he was not. No, that was the secret cameo that most people missed. We're gonna let you know what part of the movie.
It plays after the final end credit scene, but 10 minutes after, so it just goes completely dark for 10 minutes, and then it plays.
And then Bill Murray walks into the theater and says, "Hey, what's up, guys?"
You changed my life. I'm cured.
He's gonna baby step his way into the theater. And give you a handshake and
I like
be
that.
like, thanks for watching.
I like that a lot.
No, but Bob in What About Bob and Bob in Thunderbolts both have a lot of past trauma and mental blocks and issues. So that's the way it fits. There's a lot of mental type of stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
That was a lot of the battle, which is also an allegory for life and us. The battles we face are usually our own demons in our minds.
Yeah. So do you want to give your first impressions, or do you want me to give my first impressions?
I want you to give my first impressions.
So Jarvis really liked this movie. He told me himself that he really liked this movie.
Yeah, I did, but no, I will let. Please, I would like to hear your first impression first of the Thunderbolts. I'm very interested because I haven't heard it yet. I'm with you guys. I'm hearing his.
That's
first
true. You
impressions
haven't heard
time,
any of it. Saw it opening night because my wife loves Marvel movies, as does my other wife, Jarvis, loves Marvel movies. And
your podcast.
She forced me to watch Black Widow beforehand because I hadn't watched Black Widow before. So that I could know about Alexei and Yelena and all of their trauma together. So
let me ask you this real quick. Do you think that watching that helped? Like in your viewing of the Thunderbolts?
I mean, no? Yeah, I think it helped with getting a little bit more understanding of that, like these characters existed in universe pre this movie. That's pretty much all I really got out of it. Gotcha. That and Florence Pugh's character is really funny, and just like everything I would want Black Widow to be. Black Widow was a little too, and I'm sure you'll agree with this. She was a little too like, I'm a secret agent assassin.
Yeah,
like quiet. And
I mean, she had some funny moments. But
she did. She definitely did. It's just like, and this isn't Scarlett Johansson's fault. It was just she's just too bland of a character for a universe.
I would say that she wasn't necessarily funny. She had quips, and I think a lot of Marvel characters are quippy. Yelena feels like a very funny person, like in real life.
Yeah, like that's how she copes with all of her trauma, is by being funny.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
So that was, we didn't finish the movie. In fact, Sybil on the 10-minute ride to the movie theater just like told me what happened in the ending of the movie. And then we showed up and we went pre-marketing change to the new posters. Yeah. So I got to watch the whole movie with all of the little silly reveal at the end, which confused me because I was like, that's not what's happening. It's funny, like thematically it's fun, but I didn't think that they were really going to lean into it, and then they did. Like 12 hours later.
Yeah, they put their full weight on that one.
Yeah,
they fully leaned into.
They said, "This is what we're doing now," and we all went, "Oh, okay." But something that Sybil told me is that in the comics, that's like a really common thing. Is that like after the first actual Avengers arc, they started branching off, and they'd have like the new Avengers and the re-Avengers,
the young Avengers, and the Dark Avengers, and
there was just a bunch of like not Avenger groups.
Yeah, there's a whole like Avengers Disassembled. Like, that's the name of the. Like it's them all like falling out and being like, no, I'm not doing this anymore with you
Civil
guys.
War Part 2.
Yeah, kind of. So.
Okay. So that's, but overall, I really like the movie.
Compared to, okay, let's talk about, because we did a Deadpool Wolverine review. Go check it out. But I think one of the things that we talked about in that one was, is Marvel back? And we talked about it with Deadpool and Wolverine. I think we could both agree that the plot isn't great in Deadpool and Wolverine, but it's 1,000% fan service, which is fine.
Very fun though,
and they did it very well. So it gets a huge pass. It's like I just had so much fun watching it. It was 100%, 1,000,000% fan service, but it lightened the mood. It was a movie that we could just go out and enjoy, and Marvel needed that, I think.
I also think that Marvel has a really bad habit right now of making villains that aren't villains, but are villains, but aren't villains, but are villains.
I think that's a whole trend, because if you look at what Sony's been trying to do with Spider-Man and all of the villains, they're just misunderstood. They're not bad guy. Oh, it's just because you're a bad guy
I see what you're
doesn't
saying.
mean you're a bad guy.
Thanos really did a lot to the superhero genre in general, where everyone has to be like not a bad guy.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is that one of the movies that comes to mind that does not fall victim to this is Guardians 3.
Yeah, true.
Because Guardians 3, you're like, oh, that guy kicks puppies. Yeah. I don't like him.
Yeah, a truly despicable villain that you can hate. Yeah, but like even because we just did Sinners, and you talk about Ryan Coogler, but even with like Wakanda, the first one with Michael B. Jordan playing
yes,
Killmonger, even him, you were just like, man, though, I kind of get it. Like, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
But then I forget what is it. Is it Cinema Sins or someone else? One of those satirical movie reviewers that they were just like, oh yeah, we have to remind everybody that this is a bad guy, so he's gonna choke this woman. And he's literally choking a woman with the herbs. Is like, hey, we want you to have sympathy, but just remember he's a bad guy, so he's gonna choke this woman out.
I think I've told you about this writing trope, is that there's like a common, like, if you want your audience to know that this is your bad guy, have them kick a puppy.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the metaphor that they use for that.
I mean,
and it makes sense.
All of John Wick is built off of that premise, so
right.
The whole franchise makes sense. So yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, but I agree with you. There's a whole like, oh, they're bad, but like they're kind of not all the way bad.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Bob. I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh,
not a big fan of him.
So when
I think he did a great job.
So when people
like,
ask
acting.
you, what about Bob? You're just like, meh.
Much like the actual movie, What About Bob? Yeah, I did not really care for Bob.
Bob was very off-putting.
That's a great way to put it.
Is that the same? Does it parallel across
it just
both
doesn't.
movies?
It just doesn't seem like he has motivation.
What if his motivation is motivation?
That'd be great.
That's a Rick and Morty
like
reference.
we keep on getting told that he's like an unstable dude that has like terrible trauma and like but a god complex at the same time, and it switches too quick and just telling us that that's what he's like, because he's just like such a calm, gentle dude the whole time.
Guys, let me say this: I actually relate to this movie a lot. To be honest with you, it definitely hit a strong trauma nerve for me in the theaters. Mm-hmm. I did start crying, but I feel like I can relate to Bob because I look at my life. Sorry, this is another thing I do is I overshare. Full-time movie.
We love a Jarvis overshare moment. Clip it for the fan edit.
Yeah,
Jarvis oversharing.
Yeah, the Jarvis trauma dumping montage. But I think a lot. I overthink a lot. I consider myself to be very self-aware. So with that being said, like I look at, there are certain things that I'm very like particular about. Like at my new house, it's probably the cleanest any of my space has been ever for that long of a time. I'm very particular about certain things, but I'm not OCD. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like stuff on my lenses, on windows, on my car windshield, but I'm not OCD because like if you walked into my house, I have two windows. I assume that they're spaced evenly across. Yeah. But the way I have my TV set up, and I have like my TV stand, and I have two little stands with my movies and some other stuff. They're not, if you look, they're not aligned straight down the middle. Like one of the TV, like one of the boxes comes like more of it is sticking out on the window on one side than the other side. And like even my couch I know is not completely aligned straight center with the TV. Yeah. So that, but it's already there. It doesn't bother me, but there are certain things that do. Like if the rug by the door is not lined, I'll fix it immediately. Yeah. So what I mean to say by all this is like, for me, there's balance, and like I can be extremely depressed and not like myself, but I'm also very arrogant and like I'm a great person and like I'm smarter than most people and like I can be very funny and all this other stuff. Like I also, so I feel like I have that. Where
Jarvis, do you want your therapy session for the week? Do you want to know what that is?
I can't afford it right now.
Do you know what that is? In all honesty, that is telltale signs of, and I learned this from my therapist. It's an ego problem. Well, it's not a low self-esteem problem. It's not a God complex. It's just fully just an ego problem.
Well, here's another thing. I don't know if people. Sorry, we're getting like way off on a tangent here, but like
this is important stuff. I know like 3 or 4 viewers at minimum that have this problem. Personally,
so all of our viewers.
One of them's right here. The other one's right here.
So 2 out of 3 of them are in the room right now.
One of them is not Hunter, so.
But what I was gonna say was like, I don't know if you're into personality tests or like Enneagram stuff, but I think I'm an Enneagram 2 with a 1 wing, and basically 1s are very like perfection oriented and blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. Like what's crazy for me is there's like highly motivated people and that are perfectionists, and like I can see both of that. There are certain things like when I'm in something, I'm in it 100%. Yeah. But I'm also like, there's an equal force pulling in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Of like where I'm also like, who cares about being perfect? Like there's no such thing anyways. And I'm super chill about it. But I know there's a lot of other stuff too. I could go on. We could have this whole thing about that. But
so anyways, Jarvis, what was your first impressions of this
my first
movie?
impressions? I'll make this short. I promise. I really liked it a lot. I thought it was very entertaining. I do like the character, the Sentry in the comics. I think that they did a smart thing by focusing on Yelena. It's kind of the anchor, like it's mostly her perspective. It's mostly her feelings and her heart.
Yeah,
that we're following.
She makes a good main character to follow.
Yes, she's this movie's anchor main.
Yeah,
if you will.
Dude, have you seen the theories about how this movie was like timed specifically to fit the anchor being thing from Deadpool and Wolverine?
No, I didn't. That whole concept is still doesn't make any sense to me.
I think that they're just doing it to try to make sure that the whole Doctor Doom thing makes sense. I don't know. Maybe. Some nerd online made a whole timeline thing, and it's... Look it up. I'm not that big of a nerd, okay? Yeah. I don't care about the cinematic universe. I care about the movie.
Yeah, we're different kinds of nerds. But anyway, so I just say I really liked it as a Marvel movie. I thought this was very, very good, and I'm not just saying that because I saw someone say that like, oh, well, it's because we've had a lot of mediocre movies that this one that's above average, everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's the best thing because it's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, I don't necessarily agree to that. I think it's just a good movie, a really good movie. I think it tracks well. I didn't feel myself being taken out of the movie in any weird ways. Like I said, that's a red flag for me. So I liked it. It's good. And now we can get into some of those things like.
I think it's good. I didn't care for Bob.
Yeah, I like Bob. I thought he did a good job.
I think that like the actor did a great job with what they gave him.
Yeah.
But what they gave him was like, hey, be this like gentle, soft dude that doesn't know what's going on, but also like kind of a psychopath.
Well, like I said, I not to that extent psychopath stuff, but like I feel like I understand the balance. Like
I get it too.
I feel that.
I get it too, but not immediately like she believes in me, not like you say you believe in me, so I'm gonna beat you up. Like that was a little much.
It's one of those things where if I can make sense of it in my head, it gets a pass.
Okay,
it gets a pass.
I'll
if I can
that.
find a way to like make that a leap reasonably that makes any kind of sense in my head, I'll give it a pass. If it's the things that don't make any sense at all, like Pacific Rim 2, where they attach a robot arm with rockets to a kaiju, and then it carries it off into space. I'm like, no, that's ridiculous. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
but because
I agree,
there's no logic behind that, and it takes me too far out of the movie. I wasn't taken out of the movie in this way. I thought it was good, guys. I thought it was good.
All right, you want to get into the other part of this?
Let's get into the breakdown.
I just really wanted to cough into the microphone. So, The Thunderbolts is a movie about superheroes, but they're not really superheroes. Well, one of them is. 3 of them eventually. No, 4. So one of them's not. Is that a great way to explain that?
Clear as mud.
One of them doesn't have superpowers, and it's our main character, Yelena.
Yeah, Yelena's awesome. Oh, I was going to say this too. I think because you still haven't watched Hawkeye.
No,
she's in Hawkeye, and you'll love her in that too.
Yeah,
because she's just great
with Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, who was also in Sinners, and said some crazy stuff in that movie.
And allegedly is going to be in the next Avengers movie.
She should be.
With Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
We can only hope.
Yeah, Killmonger makes a comeback.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it too.
Wakanda needs a new Black Panther. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, Keeping Up with the Thundermans begins with Yelena jumping off of a building.
Very cool.
and
cool.
carrying out a mission to retrieve some stuff or get rid of it.
Yeah.
And she explodes a building, which was a practically done effect, which is kind of cool. Did you know that?
As was jumping off the building.
As was jumping off the building. Yeah, they really liked marketing this movie as not just like another Marvel movie, but like they did practical effects, which I think is kind of silly because, yeah, do that more. I've been doing it. Look, I've been working on a project. I'm going off on my own tangent. I've been working on a project, and in all of every single bit of research that I've been going through, there's so much evidence to suggest that mixing practical effects with visual effects is 100% of the time better than just having the digital visual effects.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think if you watch older movies where all they had was practical, I think that's a pretty good showcase for like, hey, practical effects.
Yeah. Well, movies used to be expensive because if they wanted a spaceship, they would build a spaceship. So there wasn't like a little mix in between. Anyways, Yelena is doing missions. She's working as like a free agent and isn't enjoying it.
And yeah, not loving it. Not loving it. She's kind of getting over it.
Which Jarvis used to sympathize with better, but now he's out of the rat race.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that a great way of putting it?
Not because I don't want to be necessarily.
Well, hey,
I'm in a weird spot.
It was no secret you didn't like your job.
Yeah.
And now if they find this podcast, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because they know. Anyways, if anyone's looking for a strong, handsome man to do some work around the house,
I'm your guy.
Just like Elena is the guy. So she ends up dropping by her dad's house.
Yeah.
To go talk to him about what to do when you don't feel like you belong anywhere, something like that. And he said, "What do you mean? You got such a great job, one that I would love to have if you could hook me up with it."
Yeah, if you don't want to do it anymore, give me your boss's number and
I'll do anything. I'll do it. We could go together. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was very silly about it. And she's like, "Okay, he's brushing me off, so whatever." And she gets another mission from, I forget her name. Do you remember her name? Valentina, who is a part of the government for some reason, but I guess that makes sense nowadays. We're not a political channel.
No, we're not.
But there's always politicians people don't want in the government, so that's how that works.
Bucky plays
Bucky is a congressman, yeah.
He's a politician in this movie, so
for a whole 10 months, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, some ridiculously short amount of time.
Yeah,
before he starts doing secret agent stuff again.
So Valentina is this corrupt politician who's been trying to do a bunch of shady stuff.
You can just shorten that and
table.
just say politician. You don't have to.
You're right. So Valentina's a politician.
No need for that.
They laugh at us too.
But
their laugh is a lot louder and a lot more rich.
Yeah, it's those laughs. Those laughs that turn into tears because it's you have to laugh so you don't cry, but you cry anyway because it's too sad.
Yeah, they cause us personal problems, which allow us to laugh at them, and they take all of our money, which makes it right for them to laugh at us. That's how the government works, and that's how this movie works as well. So Valentina is like, the government, they're coming to check up on all of the things that I've been hiding from them. So now I got to get rid of them all, including her like 5 different free agents she uses to do her dirty work.
Yeah, she's definitely doing some really bad stuff, and she's got a bunch of secret agents that kill people for her around the world, and including Yelena, including
Ghost,
U.S. agent John Walker,
also known as the artist formerly known as
Captain
America.
I like to call him Walker, U.S. Ranger.
I did my time.
And then we have Ghost.
How dare you kill my partner?
We have Ghost from the Ant-Man movies. We have Taskmaster, also from the Black Widow movie.
Which Sybil's biggest gripe is that Taskmaster lasted like all but 2 minutes in this movie.
Yeah, they kind of dropped the ball. Taskmaster's actually pretty cool in the comics. Like,
that's what I heard.
Yeah.
But not in this movie.
Yeah, and I think that was it, right?
For that bit, yeah. There's just the 4 of them.
Yeah.
And Bob.
And Bob. We don't know about him.
But Bob came out of a canister in the safe house that was getting incinerated.
Yeah, so Valentina's on trial. They're like, okay, you're doing shady stuff, and we're gonna investigate you. And she's like, okay. So she's scrambling they're shredding the documents. They're emptying out warehouses, and they're doing all the stuff to cover things up.
And killing the contractors.
She's sending each of her contractors on a mission to kill one of the other ones. And then at the end, they're supposed to all just get burned up in a giant incinerator with the rest of the evidence.
But who hears about this before he thinks it's happening is Alexei,
of course, who is
a limo driver
the red
for the rich.
The red. Well, that's how he gets his info too, which is not. It's not.
It's very Russian spy of him.
Well, people are very loose-lipped around service workers or people they think that are unimportant. So
that is true. That is a fair thing to note that they did get right. Is that people are scummy.
Yeah, and they also are openly scummy around people that they think mean nothing or no harm to them.
Yeah. So he overhears that Yelena's on this mission and is going to get incinerated, and so he tries to call her, but she doesn't answer. And then we cut back to them, and the 4 of them start fighting each other. But then they realize that they're all being duped, and they start working together to get out. And Bob,
Bob shows up in the middle
Bob is just there.
All kinds of gunfire.
Yeah,
somebody dies.
Hey, what about Bob? You know what I'm saying?
Taskmaster Ghost offs Taskmaster. Like, to me, it was insanely cool. Because she just like appeared in front of her with a gun. And like, bye.
It's true. That was very
Ghost.
That was very cool.
Ghost is obligatory. She's a very attractive woman, but also her powers are like she can be intangible. That's incredibly crazy. Like overpowered power to have. I think.
I agree.
You can't hit what's not there.
Can't hit what you can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they get out of their little thing, but they're stuck underneath like a massive tunnel.
They're working together is hilarious. And it's Bob's bright idea for them to
back-to-back climb all the way up this massive silo that's supposed to be an elevator.
Yeah, that we don't even know how tall it is, but
they were there a while.
Yeah.
And then they get to the top of it, and they don't know how to get everybody out, and John Walker saves them all.
Yeah, they're all trying to come up with a plan. They're all trying to be the leader. Not the leader from Brave New World, who is a little Hulk monster. Not that leader, but they're all trying to be like the captain of the team. And trying to make their plans work.
And John Walker is the one that succeeded.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ghost ultimately gets the vehicle and
she gets them out of there.
They all play a part except for Bob.
Yeah, Bob tried to sacrifice himself so that they could all get away, but it turns out Bob is actually a Nexus being.
He's actually bulletproof.
Yeah, and can fly.
Which we catch a glimpse of that.
Yeah,
and
our intrepid heroes escape just this once.
And then Alexei comes and saves
them. And then Alexei shows up like a madman in the desert.
Honking, being loud, being very not covert.
And saves them all and then goes, Yelena, you made friends. You're like a team now. And she's like, I don't have a team. There's no team.
Oh yeah, which she
The
mentions,
last team I was on was my junior soccer team, the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
And he said, yes, that's us. We're the Thunderbolts. That's very cute.
David Harbour he's a gem. I love him.
And then they start getting chased down by the government, but not the government, just the government that's following Valentina.
Yeah, her criminals. Because she's very upset that she finds out that they got out. They got away. They did not kill each other.
But is very happy to learn that her Century Man project worked.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for her.
That was her silver lining.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, go get them, but I'm going to deal with this.
She's like, dang it, they all survived. Oh, but...
yeah, what about Bob?
But what about Bob?
What about Bob?
He actually survived and the project worked.
So Valentina shifts her plan from burning everything to the ground to building back Avengers Tower and putting Bob in it in a gross golden spandex suit.
Yeah.
And call himself the Century.
And the reason why this bit that we're doing works is because that is Yelena's question every 15 minutes is, what about Bob?
They go, we did it. We left. He goes, well, what about Bob?
Yeah, he's still out there. We need to protect him. She definitely felt Mama Bird over him, putting her wings out so he doesn't get rained on type.
So they get chased down by the government, and the government trucks all get exploded by the Winter Soldier himself.
Oh yeah,
Bucky Barnes,
shows up. Very
James
cool.
Buchanan Barnes.
I think seeing Bucky truly, because here's one of the things that I didn't like. It's like, and this is my gripe about Star Wars and a lot of other things. It's like when we're dealing with characters that have these crazy powers, I want to see some crazy stuff, and I think Bucky's showing how amazing of a soldier he is. With his arm, his strength, like we see a few things like there's a car flying in there that's about to crush people and he deflects it with his arm. That's later on in the movie. But like even this one, it's like he takes out 3 Humvees and like
while he's on a motorcycle, no less.
One of them is, and then at the end he flips over by basically stopping it with his arm in a rope. So that's cool. Like seeing him do super soldier stuff I always love that kind of stuff.
And then they all go, yay, we're saved by the Winter Soldier.
That's what they thought at first.
Yeah, and then he flips them over and captures them and takes them back to a warehouse where
I think it was an abandoned gas station.
Yeah, something like that.
On the side of the road, yeah.
Where
they're all tied up.
Yeah, where Alexi's still super pumped because he's like, yes,
I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah.
He's very...
Yeah.
I love there because there's a line of him talking with Bucky and he's like, so what super soldier serum did you get? He's like, Bucky was like, I don't know, the normal,
the Hydro one.
Normal, Hydro. Yeah. He's like, oh, fancy.
Yeah, mine was the knockoff. It was very funny.
So good. Yeah.
So Bucky's like, hey, I'm gonna go turn you guys in because you're all working with Valentina and whatever, and they're all like,
Elena's like,
and you need to go get Bob.
Yeah, Elena's like, well, what about Bob?
And he's like, I don't care about Bob. I want to take Valentina down. She's like, yeah, what about Bob? And then Bucky gets a phone call that's like, hey, there's this thing out there that's flying around, and Valentina's trying to get. Valentina took it in and taking it back to the old Avengers Tower or whatever. And he goes, that's Bob, isn't it? Yes, that's Bob. And then Alexei gets excited again because they all have to work together, which means that they're a team.
Yeah, as a team.
And he still thinks they should be named the Thunderbolts. No one else agrees.
No
one else is giving suggestions, though, you know?
Don't you hate those types of people that are like
no,
pointing out the
that.
problem all the time? I'm like, bro, how about you offer a solution?
Give me a solution and we can talk about it.
Yeah, we're all aware of the problem. Let's figure out a solution.
Yeah, I 100%. I hate that.
Biggest gripe about the movie.
So they all go to Avengers Tower and are basically just let in. Because Valentina is like, look at my beautiful new boy. He's definitely doesn't have a god complex and can't be stopped.
Yeah, well, there's a little montage of I guess is it the training montage? I guess
like
she definitely is like manipulating him, you know, as a mother figure or something like that. Since,
Yeah, like all moms do.
Since he definitely
all
has
moms.
mama problems, mommy issues, and daddy issues. But like they show him like using telekinesis, like he moves the glass on a table, and it's not a lot, but they just show some small things, and then all of a sudden he's in the suit, and they show up.
And is completely loyal to her for some reason.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's like
that was the part that disturbed me the most.
quick.
I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're moving on with the story now.
His loyalty could be bought very easily and quickly.
Yeah, it's not like she gave him the powers after the fact. He already had the powers, so why would he be loyal? And what's crazy is that like not even like 10 minutes later in the story, he basically says that exactly. He's like, if I'm a god, why do I have to listen to you?
Okay, so here's how I remember I said if I can logically reconcile something. So I would just say that his trauma is so deep and he's fighting the void inside himself so much that the first person who like it was gonna be Elena, but now Valentina has created the environment and has said the right words to enable him. He's like putty just because his faculties are so weak. His mind is so weak in the sense of he's got so much trauma that he's so willing to accept someone who appears to truly care for him that he's completely devoted himself to her. I mean, I'm sure what we saw, I'm sure was just a small part of her indoctrinating him and making him loyal to her. So I get that we don't see all that, but also we're not going to watch 30 minutes of her just talking to him and trying to prove like, hey, this is why you need to listen to me. But I don't know. To me, it works. He was just troubled and he needed.
Jarvis, my buttons are stuck.
Oh, no.
Hold on. Keep talking.
Technical difficulties.
Keep going. I can make this work.
Okay, so you currently disagree with that, but that's okay. We're used to your takes being not as good as mine. No, I'm just kidding.
Harsh.
So there we go.
It's been fixed.
But I digress. The movie does go on.
So our superhero Bob, who I will not call Sentry, beats up not the new Avengers.
Well, they show up. They show up and they're about to storm the castle, and then Valentina just calls down and is like, "Hey guys, just take the elevator up." Like,
yeah,
you don't need to break all my guards' arms, which I think at least one arm was broken, if not two or three.
Oh, for sure. So they get invited up. Man, it stopped working again. It's okay.
Sticky keys, sticky buttons.
It's me. That's fine. I can do it like this. Yeah. So there's such a delay. It's fine. New equipment. We're making it work.
Yeah. Bear with us. We're figuring it out.
I think when I plug it in, you guys can hear it. That's great. That's actually really funny to me. Anyways.
So they,
hey, it's
they
this
go up
showbiz, man.
Yeah, they go up in the elevator.
And they go meet up with Valentina, and she's like, I look up by the Avengers Tower. Don't try to kill me. This is my boy. His name is Bob. And he is invincible. Don't even try to stop him. And then they try to stop him, and it doesn't work.
She makes a claim that he's stronger than all of the original Avengers put together.
Yeah. Which I think is supposed to be the case. I don't know. It's really not that clear. We're just being told these things, and we just have to accept them. You know what it is that bothers me about this? It's the story rules show don't tell. We're just being told that he's like super strong and really, really, really powerful.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't get to see that truly tested. In the comics, the Sentry fights one of the strongest versions of the Hulk to a standstill. The Sentry usually has to hold back, and with the Incredible Hulk at his angriest at that time in his comic book stories, it was pretty impressive that he was able to stand toe to toe with the Hulk in that state. So we don't get to see a lot of context for that. You're right. It's just told to us. In the comics, it's clearly backed up. I mean, I think in the one of the greatest panels in the comics is he's on the Dark Avengers, and they literally go to Asgard, I think, and the Sentry rips the Greek god Ares into 2 pieces with his bare hands. So that's impressive. That's like him ripping Thor in 2 pieces, because I think that Thor is on that same level of that pantheon, the Greek pantheon gods.
Yeah.
Like, I think because we saw that, like, Hercules and all those other Greek gods, like they're pretty at the same level.
They're very powerful. But this is the cinematic universe, and they're just telling us that he's really strong, and that's part of the problem. And then they back it up by putting them up against the actual like strongest people in Marvel right now? No, a bunch of individual contractors with no training.
Just like 3 or 4 people with super soldier serum, and then some regular humans.
And one
just
highly trained assassin.
Yeah.
Very cool guys.
Yeah.
Literally nobody with what I would consider to be superpowers, except for Ghost. But Ghost is like, it can just be intangible.
Yeah, she could be intangible and he can't hurt her, but she also can't do any damage to him ever. So
so it's a stalemate. It doesn't work.
Well, I mean, eventually he would catch her. He's too. I feel like the fight is pretty cool. It does put in perspective, like, this guy, like, there's no sense of danger.
Yeah, he's like obviously strong.
Yeah, and also his speed is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We get a whole, like, what I would call like a Dragon Ball Z type thing where he punches somebody and then is behind them to catch him.
Or the Shadow from the Sonic 3 movie.
Oh yeah, that too.
Where he does that in Shibuya.
Oh yeah, very cool, very cool. So he's
top 3 movie.
He's strong.
Top 2 sometimes.
Top 20.
Take the 0 off of the 20.
But yeah, so I thought that was cool. I definitely
thought it was cool too.
Maybe liked a little more of it.
Yeah,
but whatever. Maybe for the next time he shows up, we'll get to see him do some cool stuff.
Yeah, and so they all leave because they can, I guess. And they go, "Man, we suck," and they all split ways. And Alexi's like, "No, we're a team."
They have a mini falling out. It's that rom-com where for some reason they get into that big fight that's easily avoidable if they were just a little bit more clear.
And then fate brings them back together. Yeah.
So this is that part of the
But
movie.
in this sense, fate is Bob and his god complex showing up, and he turns into Void.
Yeah.
Which was a cool effect. I actually really want to know how they...
You could say he succumbed to the dark side.
Yeah. The Void was really cool visually speaking.
Yeah, because
I liked the way it looked.
He was literally just like...
But it wasn't just like completely black. Like they had highlights, shadows.
And his
which
eyes
was cool.
were going in a creepy way. So
yeah, I liked that. It was neat.
Very good.
And then everything started falling apart.
Not too different than how they did the eyes in Sinners, I think.
Probably not. Probably not very different.
Yeah, so we liked Sinners.
Sinners good. Go see Sinners. Like 3 times.
We have the review up already. Watch it after this.
The whole thing too.
Yeah.
The full review.
Yeah, all hour and a half of it.
It's good. With Hunter.
With Hunter.
So Void starts seeping darkness into the whole city.
He just starts voiding.
Yeah, he's voiding everything.
He's voiding everybody from life. He's like, you're voided, you're voided.
Yelena and Alexei have a little bit of a moment that was really good, where Alexei's like, you can't just leave, we're a team. And she is like, I don't have anything, dude. I'm like, I hate my job. I go home and I like scroll on my phone until I wake up the next day and go do more things that I hate. And my dad's not even there for me. I lost my sister twice, and she's like gone for good, and I don't even have my dad.
Yeah.
And that was his like, shit. I'm not a good dad.
He was like, touche, you got me there.
Yeah. But then he's very sweet.
Yes.
And brings her back into it. And then they see things going on with Void.
Well, she literally just goes into the Void by herself, and everybody's like, no.
Yeah. and then they all like are freaking out and are like, well, maybe she did it for a reason. Like maybe she knows something we don't. And in the Void world, she's dealing with all of her like past traumas that everyone would try to avoid. And eventually,
which was apparently for her, selling out her friend, a childhood friend,
yeah,
to literally be murdered.
Yeah, to the red room, which is sad. But yeah, I would
very traumatic.
Yeah,
and there's nothing she can do to change it either.
No, and that's
she tries.
Part of the problem.
Yeah.
But she travels through a couple of traumas and finds Bob just sitting in one of his traumas.
The room was the least scary of the rooms that he had available to him.
And he said that that's just where he was going to stay because it was the easiest one to just chill in. And Elena is like, hey, maybe we can do this together. Like, you don't have to go through all this by yourself. And then the rest of the not Avengers show up and literally break into the nightmare and are like, well, I'll do it together. And they find Void in one of the nightmares, and they all get trapped, and Bob starts beating the shit out of Void, which everyone knows I'm a big fan of the bad guy getting punched in the face. It's great.
But that's like all part of the plan.
Yeah.
For the Void, yeah.
Yeah, and Yelena breaks out and is like, no, don't do that. This isn't who you are. And then they all hug.
Yeah, he the Void is like, yes, let the anger flow through you.
Yeah, very, very Palpatine-esque.
And somehow he came back.
Somehow he came back. The dead speak. Oh, man. You have no idea how many times this week alone I've been reminded about that atrocity.
Bro, it's one of the worst.
I think it's because I saw all three prequels again. And even though they're like kind of campy and really like
the dialogue is not
good.
Yeah.
The dead speak is probably like the most egregious thing to ever. Jar Jar Binks was better than the dead speak.
Yeah, literally Poe Dameron saying somehow he's returned.
It's the worst thing. And you can see Oscar Isaac in that too, like somehow he's back.
He's back somehow.
It's so funny.
and then another one. Sorry to get another tangent, but another line from that. I am the spy. Like, oh come on, I am the spy. Really? How far can your eyes roll back into the back?
Anyways, of so the Thunderbolts they do it. They succeed, and New York gets returned back to normal. Nobody's dead. That's the good news. Because that one really. Did you have your theater gasp when that little girl got voided?
Yes,
dude, that was awesome.
Bro, that was unexpected in the best way.
Yeah,
dude, that was so good.
I also sat there and I was like, oh, that's a bold thing to do.
Yes, dude.
You're not really.
Did you laugh when she got voided?
No, I went.
You held it back.
Well, it's because there's another like unspoken rule of Hollywood. You don't show kids getting killed.
Yeah.
So the fact that they like did that was one of their hints. That's like, hey, they're not dead.
Yeah. That
was one of the hints. But like in the moment, you're like, damn, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't think anybody was seeing that coming because she just got saved. So that was cool.
Man.
Let me say this real quick. The part where we see Bob's trauma, bro, that was my trigger. Like I definitely started crying because I was like, oh. That was my experience, like growing up and stuff like that. So that was a traumatic trigger.
I did not have that experience, but I did have my parents fight a lot. Not about me being not enough, because my parents, I love you both very much. They didn't really care.
I was it was like nail on the head for me for all of it. So, except for
it's a very common thing, unfortunately.
I'm sure a lot of people could relate.
Just like the movie we're gonna do after this is also a very relatable. Like, why did everyone grow up with some form of this?
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Anyways, the Thunderbolts they win.
Connected.
Yeah, it's all connected. The Thunderbolts they win. Valentina capitalizes on this opportunity to introduce her new team of the new Avengers, and I did sit there for a moment. And I was like, Yelena's just gonna punch her in the mouth, but she didn't. She went, "We own you now."
Yeah,
which I thought was fair.
Yeah. You would. I know you. You wanted to see that punch in the face,
dude. I really wanted the moment to be like, no, we're not. The whole thing was about how they're not a team. You know,
yeah,
they're not a team, but they work okay together.
That's like saying that's like in the movies when one character says to another, "I'm never gonna leave you." Then you know they're about to die or leave. So,
yeah, I guess that's fair. Well, let's transition. Let's transition into our last part here, so we can talk about this better. Okay. I don't know. Ending kind of fell short for me.
No,
not the emotional part, but like the part that Marvel cared the most about fell short for me. You know what I'm saying? The new Avengers fell short for me, and it's I don't even think it's because I don't like the characters. It's that they're
was that like a what's your name, Ray? What's your last name?
Skywalker. Yeah.
Is that
a little? Yeah, I think that's kind of how it felt. Is because it was a little too on the nose.
Yeah,
that's of like what they were trying to
do. Bro, that's kind of how I felt. I was watching a guy on YouTube who does food, which is probably the easiest type of YouTube, if you ask me. Just eating food on camera.
Why haven't we done that?
I know, right? We're gonna turn. Next episode, we're gonna just eat in front of the camera. And
I've been doing YouTube on and off for so long, dude, and I've never once been like, I'm gonna eat on camera.
There's more people eating food in their cars on YouTube than ever. But anyway,
why did I buy this camera, Jarvis? We could be doing it so much easier.
I know, just sitting in our cars. No, but I saw. What I'm trying to make a point, and this guy went to New Mexico and was like, I'm eating some chilaquiles, and you look at the plate and it's dry nachos with like an egg and some chorizo on top.
It's like it's barely huevos rancheros.
It's not, yeah, dude, it's not even that, because like
that's
and
crazy.
It's funny because someone said actually chilaquiles is like it's cooked in a pan with a green or red type of salsa, and that's chilaquiles. And my first comment on there was, I was about to say he's
good.
Still,
by the way, chilaquiles is good.
He still hasn't had chilaquiles, and he actually commented on my thing. He's like rough or something like that. I forgot what he said.
Oh, I love that.
But to really me, so that's the point I'm trying to make. Is like it's not like I didn't have a problem with him loving his breakfast nachos, but don't call them chilaquiles.
Right? Yeah. I'm fine with them having the fun little, like, in the moment I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cute. They'll have like we're the Avengers moment, and then the actual like new set of Avengers will set into place, which I think the post-credit scene is like trying to set up for, because there's a lot of, obviously Sam's not cool with that, which I agree with, because like he should be a part of that for sure, but not with those people. Sam's very by the book, and I do appreciate that about his character. And like, man, it just, I feel like it was like a cute little joke, and then they changed all the marketing, and I was like, this is stupid. And I was not about it anymore after that. Unless they do something like cool and clever with it, but like if they're really like, no, these are the new Avengers.
I am hoping to give them the benefit of the doubt, and we'll see what happens in the upcoming Avengers movies and stuff like that. I enjoyed the movie enough, so I'm like, okay, I'll give you guys a pass. Like for me, like when we talk about like the Eternals, everybody hated the Eternals, and I get it. I will die on the hill that should have been a Disney Plus series where each character got their own individual episodes showing what they were doing from the time that they
Falcon
separated.
And the Winter Soldier?
Yeah, from the time that they separated to
been good.
And then the finale of that season could have been them coming together and handling all this stuff. It should have been a Disney Plus series, because when you have that many characters, you don't get to connect with them in a real way, because you've got too many characters. And so you don't really grow any attachments to them. And also it just felt rushed. So but what I did like about it is what they were setting up with the Celestials. I love that there was a lot of intrigue. I want to know what they were going to do with Thanos and his brothers, or his brother Eros, and all that stuff. So that excited me. This excites me for what's coming next, I guess I should say.
Yeah, no, it's still like probably best Marvel movie that's come out in a little while.
And in another month and a half, we're going to be able to see Fantastic Four,
which should be the best one that comes out all year.
Yeah. It's hard to not get hyped for that one.
I like all the actors in it. I love the dude who plays Thing.
Yeah,
he's so good.
He's great.
I love him in The Bear.
Yeah, and the fact that we're gonna see a real Galactus.
Oh yeah,
Very
cool.
Not just some kind of storm cloud with teeth or whatever it was in the original Fantastic Fours.
Dude. Okay, do you want to? Let me get to my favorite part because I want to talk about things that I learned about how movies are made.
Ooh, okay,
that I think is neat. How much do you think the budget was, Jarvis?
Fun fact. I'm gonna say it was probably around like $275 million.
Okay, 180.
Oh man,
180 mil.
Why I think all these things are like
opening weekend?
I think they did.
Yeah, this one you should know.
They did 130, right?
You're close. Opening weekend, U.S. and Canada was 74 million.
74.
But the gross for U.S. and Canada was 143 million.
Okay.
And gross worldwide is $286 million. Okay, so here's you ready for the fun thing I learned about Hollywood?
Yes, we want to know
finance. This is cool and interesting, I promise. I know you're here for Thunderbolts, but this is cool and interesting, I promise. You ever hear about how movies don't make money?
Yeah.
Well, that's because on paper, they don't. I just showed you these numbers, right? Yeah, but if you go through and you like see the bookkeeping for all of it, it's going to show that it probably didn't make any money. Do you know why?
Yes, because box office doesn't account for the cut that goes to the theaters, as well as it doesn't account for advertising.
And it also doesn't account for loans being paid back. So here's how Hollywood functions. Jarvis comes to me, big Hollywood studio Michael, and says, I want to make a movie.
Someday.
And says, I want to make a movie for $100 million. And I go, that sounds great. Let's make a movie for $100 million. And Jarvis is going to go make an LLC for Jarvis's Movie LLC. And he's going to come back to the studio, Big Michael studio.
It's called J-Dog Studios.
J-Dog Studios. And I'm going to loan Jarvis $100 million at a very reasonable, very kind 50% interest rate.
Thank you.
It takes 2 years to make the movie. How much interest is that? You're correct. $100 million of just interest. So $200 million for this movie, but the budget's $100 million, right? But you also have to get a bunch of equipment, and you have to rent studio space, which thankfully I have, so you can rent studio space from my studio that I own that's not the same business that loaned you the money. And you can also rent the equipment from me, which is also not the same studio that loaned you the money. And then we have to pay all of the people and make deals. And some of the actors are going to want not just like an upfront money, but they're also going to want like hey, if the movie does well, we want a cut of the net profits of the movie. And so we go, yeah, that sounds great. You can have like, 10%? That sounds great. And then we make sure that it never shows that it made money on paper because it's still paying back the loan, obviously, right?
Right.
And then it goes and does really well in the box office, and it makes $250 million. And you're right, like $50 million of that has to go to the movie theaters because that's what happened. 100 goes back to my pocket because I loaned you the money, and then another 100 goes back into my pocket because I loaned you the money.
And equipment.
And then we get to make another movie. That's Hollywood bookkeeping.
Yeah. Doesn't seem fair, does it?
No. It's also part of the reason why like Scarlett Johansson got mad at Disney because if they don't release it in the movie theaters because they didn't release Black Widow in the movie theaters, then how are they supposed to prove that there's money coming in for it? Because that just goes to a platform, and sure, it's a platform that they have metrics for, but why would they share them? That's internal metrics.
Yeah.
They don't have any reason to share subscriber information with one actor because they made a deal. That's not part of the deal. The part of the deal was the money that it made off of the box office.
Yeah.
So it's just all, and the reason why they do it is also interesting is because back in the day, this came from Bonnie and Clyde. Do you remember that movie? Do you ever see it? The old one from the 40s. So the actor who played Clyde made a deal with, I think it was Warner Brothers that made that movie. And Warner Brothers, he didn't want to get paid up front. He said, you don't need to pay me up front. I just want money. It was a 10% deal if the movie makes money. It was 10% of the gross amount. So like the top line, what it made, not what it made after all of the expenses were taken out. And that movie went on to make 1940s money, $100 million. That's a lot of money in 1940. And he made away with $10 million before they got any of their bills paid.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so Hollywood never made that mistake ever again.
Well, didn't they do that with RDJ? I mean, he's made a ton of money off of Marvel. He's made so much money. I don't
know. I think that might have been a deal like way back in the day.
I think that he took a percentage of something. And he's just made, for all of his, like even his small amounts of appearances in other movies, he just makes insane bank. We'll look it up afterwards. How much? I think
it's possible. It's possible that he did it for the first couple of Iron Man movies and then like the first Avengers, just because at that point, like, what are they going to do? Say no to him?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know about after that. I'll look it up because they very rarely make those deals, and it's usually like how The Rock does it, where The Rock puts his money up and he's the producer. And so he gets to make the deal that like the money that comes back is his. Yeah. So
I've learned a few things too, listening to podcasts too. Just people who've done sitcoms, they don't get as much residuals unless they have like a director producer credit. Mm-hmm. So that's why they'll direct or produce direct an episode or two. Yeah. So that they can get residuals.
Oh, that makes sense. They also don't generally give people with regular speaking parts royalties deals. Yeah. Because there's a famous dude on YouTube who's famous because of David Dobrik, Jason Nash, who was on a bunch of like TV shows back in the day where he'd have like a line or two, and he still makes like hundreds of dollars off of the residuals for him. Yep. Yeah, which is crazy because like Drake and Josh, who were both on the same show that Jason Nash was on, do not get residuals at all.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which is nuts. And how is that allowed, Hollywood? I know that it's all just deals and it's people sign things.
We'll do things different. We'll do things different once we get there.
I am totally about merit-based residuals. I would not shy from being like, hey, you get paid this much up front and a percentage.
Yeah, for life.
And I know that's idealistic, but guess what? Fuck you guys. I can be idealistic if I want.
Yeah, guess what? People are going to want to work with us because of that. Guys, we've got big dreams over here, Full-Time Movie Fans. Feel free to help us out. Like and subscribe. We've got a few more minutes because we have to do our arbitrary rating. We still haven't done our arbitrary rating.
Oh, can I shill real quick first?
Yeah.
I'm working on stuff on my YouTube channel. I just posted a video about it. Jarvis doesn't even know about it. So if you want, you can go learn about that and then be a part of that and see what big dreams this little camera is supposed to be a part of. That's my show. You can see it in the description. I'll make sure Jarvis puts it in the description.
So
see it in theaters.
Yeah, we're gonna.
That's my rating.
Yeah, hopefully those of you guys who are with us right now will, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, man, see some really cool stuff from us. We have big dreams. I want to be a part of that.
I'd say within 5 years.
Yeah.
See it in theaters.
Yeah, you know what I would say? I would say it's rewatchable. I would say that it's worth you
rewatchable
to go watch it. Yeah, rewatchable in theaters. I don't think you necessarily have to own it. I would say just enjoy streaming it when you're bored and you want something to watch. But I wouldn't say go buy.
I would say that it'll
set.
likely become a comfort watch for people later.
Yeah, kind of like Shang-Chi is for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that Shang-Chi is like up there in my like top list of Marvel movies. But I would say like I'd put it on in the background and like hang out.
Yeah. I
agree with that.
Absolutely. So mine is rewatchable in theaters. Which it is still in theaters.
Mine is watch it in theaters.
Yeah. Cool. So guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us.
Check out my YouTube channel.
Yeah, check out his YouTube channel.
I shouted out this YouTube channel.
You know, we could put a link to your YouTube channel in the description.
That's great.
Or we could just make it the top comment, a link to your
I'll take both.
We could do both.
I shouted out our stuff here, so
yeah, feel free to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment if you would like us to review a particular movie. If there's a movie that you like, that's going to be the best way to get it reviewed, is to leave a comment. Guys, I would love to see some likes and comments on our videos besides the ones that we put on there.
Yeah, I requested Megapolis, and Jarvis does not want to do that, but Hunter does. So
Megapolis, we'll do it for Hunter.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm missing out.
Oh my gosh, you'll never get that time back. I'll let you know that right now.
I've heard that it's very interesting,
to say the least,
but not in the way that Francis Ford Coppola wanted it to be.
Yeah. Yep, there's a lot to say about that one. But this has been Full Time Movie Fans. We hope your day is everything you dream of and more, and we'll catch you in the next one.
And I wish that you would dream more. Let's see if this button turns off the recording. Hey, full-time MFers. You like this video? We sure did. If you liked it, maybe you should share it with your friends. Maybe like the video and subscribe.
If we were you, that's what we would do. If I was watching this,
I'd be all over that.
Like, and I'd hit that share, and then I would hit that subscribe in that order.
Yeah. There's also another video that's popped up. YouTube thinks you like this one, so you should watch that one now.
See you next time.